welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Too Faced Christmas in the City makeup set. If you do want to see a review and a demo, then please keep watching. As a huge favor, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment anything down below. I greatly appreciate it. I read all the comments and I will do my best to reply back. This set retails for $59 at Sephora. I do want to read a little bit about this. Exclusive collection of face and eye palettes to channel your inner city girl. Inspired by some of Too Faced's favorite big cities. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. It says Too Faced up at the top. I really do love the details on the packaging. You have Santa's sleigh here. You have the Eiffel Tower, the Beverly Hills Hotel, the Rome Coliseum. You can tell a lot of attention went into the detailing of the packaging. It's very cute. On the bottom of the packaging, it says Christmas in the City. When you flip it over on the back, you have a picture of what's included. The only reason why I purchased this set was because of the blushes. I'm not really interested in the eyeshadow palettes, and I've already tried the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. The mascara is good. I wish Too Faced would have sold the blush palette individually instead of me purchasing this entire kit. I have the list of ingredients. It does say here the bulk was made in the USA, but it was assembled in the Dominican Republic. On top of the packaging, there isn't anything. Down at the bottom, you have the barcode, and then there's a list of different languages. On the sides of the packaging, you have the continuation of the design. So let's open this up. Here's what everything looks like inside. The first thing I see is the mascara. Here we have the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. Next up, I see the blush palette. Then I see another eyeshadow palette. And here's what the second eyeshadow palette looks like. We're first gonna start off with the blush palette. Here's a closer look on what the blush palette looks like. Again, the details are very cute. On the back of the palette, it says Christmas in Rome. It states bulk was made in USA and it was assembled in the Dominican Republic. Let's open this up. Again, I love the design. The first shade is called Jingle Bellini. It's a little bit scratchy in the pan. Here's what Jingle Bellini looks like. Let's blend this out. Here's a closer look on what Jingle Bellini looks like. Taking my blush brush, I'm gonna dip into the shade in Jingle Bellini. Oh, there's a little bit of fallout. Just wanna show you guys, as soon as I dip my brush in there, you can see there's a fallout. Let's see what the shade in Jingle Bellini looks like. I can't even see the blush. I'm gonna see if it's buildable. There we go, now we can see the blush shade. The next blush shade is called Cuter on a Scooter. I'm gonna spray my brush with the Sephora Instant Clean Dry Brush Spray. I'll just use a napkin to wipe it down. That way I don't have a lot of brushes to clean later on. My blush brush is nice and clean. Now we can dip into the shade Cuter on a Scooter. Again, this shade has some fallout. Let's see what this shade looks like. Here we have the shade in Cuter on a Scooter. This blush shade is really pretty. I'm just gonna take a tiny bit more. I wanna see if it's buildable. It definitely is buildable. Here's what those two blush shades look like side by side. They're both very pretty. The next blush shade is called No Place Like Rome. Again, a little bit scratchy in the pan. Here's what No Place Like Rome looks like. Taking a clean blush brush, I'm gonna dip into the shade in No Place Like Rome. Another beautiful blush shade. Again, I'm gonna see if it's buildable. Another beautiful blush shade. The last blush shade is called Christmas Cannoli. Here's what all four of the blushes look like swatched on the back of my hand. Now let's see what Christmas Cannoli looks like. I can't even see this blush shade. It's very light. I'm gonna see if we can build it up. I had to go in a few times to build up the pigment. Hopefully you're able to see it on camera. I love this blush palette. I just didn't like the last shade in Christmas Cannoli. It barely shows up on me, but the other three shades are so pretty and they are buildable. Now let's move on to the eyeshadow palette. The first palette is called Christmas in Paris. Here's a closer look on what the palette looks like. Again, the detailing on the packaging is so pretty. Here's what the back looks like. It says Too Faced and then Christmas in Paris. Here's what all 12 shades look like. And again, the detailing on the packaging is just gorgeous. The first shade is called Christmas Markets. This shade is very soft in the pan. The next next shade is called City of Lights. That's swatched really nicely. That's a beautiful shade. The next shade is called Simply Magical. Surprisingly, that's swatched really nicely. The next shade is called Bonjour Santa. The next shade is called Twinkling Tower. These shimmer shades are so pretty. The next shade is called Baguette Please. This shade is a little bit patchy. I'm gonna see if I can build it up. The next shade is called VIP at Versailles. The shimmers in this palette is where it's at. The matte shades, not so much. The next shade is called Chocolate Croissant. The next shade is called Let Them Eat Cake. This shimmer shade is stunning. The next shade is called Elves and the Eiffel. This is very soft in the pan. I'm just gonna go over it with another layer. There we go, much better. The next shade is called Ladies Who Louvre. That shade is so pretty. The last shade in the palette is called Bouche Noella. I'm gonna see if I can squeeze it down here at the very bottom. Perfect. Here's what all 12 shades look like in the Christmas in Paris palette. The next palette is called Christmas in Los Angeles. Here's a closer look at what the packaging looks like. You have the Beverly Hills Hotel. You have the Hollywood sign. It says Too Faced up at the top. You have Santa with this little reindeer. Super cute detailing on the packaging. When you turn it over on the back, it says Too Faced, and then it says Christmas in Los Angeles. Again, on the bottom, it says bulk is made in the USA and it was assembled in the Dominican Republic. Let's see what this looks like. Again, the attention to detail is so pretty. Here's what all 12 shades look like in this palette. The first shade is called Santa on Sunset. Ooh, this is super soft in the pan. Here's what that shade looks like. The next shade is called Obvious Sleigh. This is very soft in the pan. That's swatched very nicely. I'm gonna go over it. The next shade is called Xmas in La La Land. A little bit scratchy in the pan. The next shade is called Selfies with Santa. Here's what Selfies with Santa looks like. Next up, we have Touch Your Elf. The next shade is called Here for the Hose. These two shade names are highly inappropriate. What was Too Faced thinking? I want to know who at Too Faced approved the shade names of this eyeshadow palette. The next shade is called Santa Monica. Next up, we have Noel Way. The next shade is called Hollywood and Twine. first shade in the last row is called Christmas in Bells. I'm going to apply another coat of that shade. The second to last shade is called Yule by the Pool. The last shade in this palette is called Christmas FOMO. Here's what all 12 shades look like in the Christmas in Los Angeles eyeshadow palette. Now we're going to create a look using both of these palettes. Taking a clean eyeshadow brush, I'm going to dip into the shade in Selfies with Santa. Apply this all over the crease, going back and forth using windshield wiper motions. This is going to be our transition shadow. I'll apply it all over the lid as well. Going into the Christmas in Paris palette, I'm going to dip into the shadow in Baguette Please, using that same eyeshadow brush. Again, going back and forth in the crease right underneath that first shadow. That shade blended out so easily. Taking a flat brush, I'm going to dip into the shade in Simply Magical. Again, we're staying with the Christmas in Paris eyeshadow palette. Applying this shade in the center of my lid. Wow, that's pigmented. I'm getting a little bit of fallout with that shade. Taking a clean fluffy brush, I'm going to dust out the fallout. Using that same brush, I'm going to dip into the shade in Twinkling Tower. Apply this shade in the inner portion of my eye, blending in that shadow with the green. That looks so good. Going back into the Christmas in Paris palette, we're going to dip into the shade in Chocolate Croissant. Taking the first brush we used, apply this in my outer V using circular motion, just to deepen up the look. That's perfect. For mascara, I'm going to apply the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. You get 4.8 grams or 0.17 ounces. It states that this mascara was made in Italy and it has a 6-month shelf life. Here's what the wand looks like. Going back into the blush palette, I'm going to dip into the shade in No Place Like Rome. Apply this to my cheeks. For lips, I'm going to apply the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Praline. Here's what everything looks like. My final thoughts on the two eyeshadow palettes is that I really do like both palettes. I prefer the shimmer shades over the matte shades. On the back of the packaging, it states that the Christmas in Paris palette smells like strawberry and champagne. I don't smell anything. It states that the Christmas in Los Angeles palette smells like pina colada. Again, I don't smell anything. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I wasn't really interested in the eyeshadow palettes. I was mainly interested in the blush palette. The only thing I did not like was the two shade names in the Christmas in Los Angeles palette. If you're gifting this set to a friend or a family member, I would definitely take a look at the shade names. For $59, you get a blush palette, two eyeshadow palettes, and a mascara. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.